Welcome to Ken's Corner Podcast, Season 2. It's time. Are you ready? Now here we go with your host, Ken Judge.
Hi, everyone. It's Ken from Ken's Corner, and I'm very excited today to have my friend, Sage Mose. He's a professional wrestler from Edmonton. How are you doing today, Sage?
Great. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm so excited to be here and share some exciting news with you.
Yeah, we got a lot of exciting news coming up, and but we'll get to that. First off, we're going to start with your career and how it began.
Yeah, so I've got kind of a different start to my wrestling career. I definitely wasn't, like I grew up in the Attitude Era, so I mean, that was the golden age, right? But I definitely wasn't one of those wasn't always like imagining myself to be a wrestling star, like I didn't think that I would ever be a professional wrestler. That was definitely not my dreams and aspirations in life. Like I just wanted to be a mom and a wife, and I just wanted to raise my babies. Um and I think the universe had a very different plan for me. 10 years ago, when we were out with my two children, Gio and Quentin, we were out celebrating on a restaurant patio on May 19th, 2013. And a drunk driver drove his vehicle through the restaurant patio that we were sitting on, running over my entire family and killing my firstborn son. And the 5 years following that, we were dragged through the court system all the way to the Supreme Court. And the guy who killed my son, he received a 4-month sentence for killing my son. And they appealed that sentence. At first, he only got a 1-month sentence, and they appealed that to the provincial, and they gave him a 4-month sentence. They appealed that all the way to the Supreme Court, which upheld his 4-month sentence, but said that it would cause him undue hardship to serve his sentence. And so he never even served his 4-month sentence. And I've been left to pick up the pieces ever since.
My
And one of
condolences
the ways that we picked up those pieces is we really reached out to our community right from the beginning. And one of the organizations who were one of the first to step up was Monster Pro Wrestling. And they held a benefit show, like a Justice for Geo wrestling show. And they gave us a little belt with his name on it. I keep it in my house here, right under my Monster Pro women's belt. And they brought us into the ring, and they had the whole crowd chanting Geo's name, and they gave us this little belt. And that was such a moment, for us. It was so powerful. And fast forward throughout my healing journey, 10 years later, Massive Damage, Sean of Monster Pro Wrestling, reached out and asked if I wanted to be involved with Monster Pro Wrestling. I think he thought that I would either be like announcing or managing or something like that, right? But as soon as he said it, it just clicked, and I was like, yes, I want to be a wrestler. And that's where that dream really was born. And I've just felt so guided. I feel like my son Gio has like laid this path out for me, and I'm just following it along to see where it takes me. I really feel guided by my son throughout this journey. I mean, my first match was in May, which was when when my son died. And normally that is such a difficult month for me to get through. But that's when I began my wrestling career, and I just felt this new strength, and I talk a lot about how wrestling has healed me. July is my son's birthday. Actually, on my son's birthday, I got to wrestle my mentor and coach, Massive Damage. And you know, again, like another day that's really hard for me has been wrestling has been that salvation, you know. And so then we fast forward to this last year in May. Sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So
It's okay.
we were a part of this Tony Candelo's Northern tour in February. And when we went on this tour, we had a documentary crew following us and filming the Death Tour documentary. And they captured a lot of really great moments and stories. And I want to tell you more about that later. And so this year on May 19th, which is the day that my son passed, the documentary was invited to premiere at the Cannes Film Festival for their Docs in Progress. And so it was just throughout my career, my short career so far, I've really felt his presence and his guidance. And he's always, I guess, kind of letting himself be known throughout my career. So it's been really, like I said, I feel really guided on this path. And I'm just following it to see where it takes me. Every time I'm in the ring, it's like I feel a little bit closer to my son. So I just keep chasing that feeling and
Yeah. Well, first
seeing where it
off,
goes.
thank you. First off, Sage, my condolences, and you're a very strong woman to be able to go through what you have. And it that really pulls at my heart, and I appreciate your words and what you're saying. But I want to suggest something here, because I've been seeing the chatter on Facebook and in social media that maybe your path is leading you to Wrestling Academy, Loot Academy 2024 in Jacques Rougeau.
Yeah, definitely. So 2024 has some amazing things in store for us, and Wrestling Academy is definitely one that I'm super, super, super excited about. The participants haven't been announced yet. I know he's still accepting inscriptions until December 10th. So there's still just under a week to get inscriptions in. But fingers crossed, I'll be going to Montreal in 2024, and I'm hoping to represent, you know, our Indigenous people. I'm hoping to represent the West. I'm just really hoping to just go and have an incredible time. Like, what an incredible experience, right? Let's take the amazing prizes off the table, like $10,000. That's awesome.
Yes.
Let's just take that off the table completely and talk about like the experience of just going to Montreal and wrestling in a completely different territory than I haven't been that far out east yet to wrestle. So wrestling with all new people and meeting, you know, the cream of the crop of Canadian wrestling here at this tournament is just so exciting. I feel like when you take that $10,000 off the table and you look at just that, the opportunity and the experience, I feel like we all walk away as winners from that, you know?
I
So that's
agree.
what I'm really, really excited about for 2024.
Yeah.
Just going to meet these
Yeah.
incredible women. I haven't really been able to wrestle with a lot of women, so that's the big thing that I'm very excited about,
So
is meeting
you
some of the
wrestle
best
man?
women.
You
Pardon?
usually wrestle man, you mean?
Yeah, or else I find, you know, with
That's
women's
good.
wrestling, you get stuck wrestling the same girl over and over, you
That's
know?
true.
So
Lack of
there's a
woman.
few of us out here, but you end up working the same people quite a bit.
You do have a champion from there, Kat Von Hees, I believe, won
Yes,
2023. So from Alberta. So I
yes,
appreciate that, and I
she's
do
amazing.
appreciate your talking about your Indigenous culture, which I am as well. I'm a Ojibwe here in Ontario, so I'm so honored to have you on for that reason alone. And I do want to talk a bit about what I heard about your dancers and some of the culture you bring to the ring during your matches.
Yeah, I definitely, when I started my career, I I didn't want to just be a wrestler that was Indigenous. I wanted to be an Indigenous wrestler and really continue to honor my identity at the forefront. Um, my Indigenous culture is something that I'm very, very proud of, and that I continue to keep at the forefront because I think it's so important. Like, that representation is so important. And so that's something that I, right from my entrance to the music to sometimes I'm able to come out with powwow dancers or, with Cree, our Cree tradition, our Cree values. One of them is Wakotawin. I believe that we are all related. And so, I've brought out some like my Maori friend. So she's another indigenous woman from across the ocean, right? So even though like it was just this blend of indigenous representations. So she's walked me out to the ring before and just yeah, like I said, I love to have that indigenous representation. I think it's so important um for our people, but also especially our youth to see, indigenous representation,
Excuse me.
healthy indigenous representation, people, indigenous role models and indigenous heroes being celebrated instead of just reading in the newspaper that, another indigenous woman was found murdered or missing or, like the stories are so tragic. And yes, we know about our trauma, but let's talk about all of our things that all of our celebrations,
Yes. Yes, exactly what we actually want to talk about as people.
Exactly. Like there's so much trauma and there's so much heartache for our people, but there's also so much to be proud of and there's so much to celebrate. And I think it's time that we start doing that. So I'm very excited to be a part of this.
Yeah, hopefully you're the 2024 women's winner of Loot Academy, Jacques
That's what
Rougeau.
we're hoping.
Yeah, and you're off to the Nightmare Factory with Cody Rhodes and Billy Gunn and in a match at AEW. That's
I
I
know this
truly
year
feel
he's
this.
got some I know this year he's got some different prizes. I know for the past couple years they've been
Yes.
sending them to Nightmare Factory. This year he's got some different prizes
Oh,
that
okay.
I think he's yet to announce.
I didn't
But I
know
know
that.
that there's some really exciting prizes that he's lining up for us, and I'm sure that he will announce those soon.
Yeah, I'll have him back on here at some point to speak of what those are and the wrestlers that are involved in that tournament. Now let's get
Yes.
back to your news. Let's talk about what you wanted to come here and speak about, your exciting news.
Yeah, and so continuing on with how exciting 2024 is going to be, we've got, like I said, the documentary that we were a part of that we filmed last February on Tony Candelo's Northern Tour. This documentary is finally it's premiering this January at the Slam Dance Film Festival. And we're just really excited because we actually just signed on. We have a new executive producer for the documentary, and it's Chris Jericho.
Oh, wow.
So it's
That's
really exciting to
yeah,
have him as
I
part of this
guess.
project and to see um, where this documentary will go and the story that this documentary will tell. And it's really, really, really exciting to just be a part of this project.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
when does Slam Dance when is this festival?
So Slam Dance is in mid-January in Utah. And so, yeah, the documentary will be premiering there first. And then hopefully at a few other film festivals, it'll be available on television as well for CBC, APTN. I'm sure other networks will be announced as well. There's going to be multiple ways to view the documentary, and it's a very important documentary to view. I might be a little biased in saying that, but I feel
That's
like it's
okay.
something, whether you're a wrestling fan or not, it's something important to watch. Um, I mean, obviously, we're all on Tony Candelo's Northern Tour, and it was his 50th year promoting professional wrestling. So we obviously we touch about that, but the documentary really is about our stories and what brought us to, this place here in northern Manitoba in these isolated Indigenous communities. But then it also talks about some of the story of the communities as well, and the trials and tribulations, the adversities that these communities face. And so I don't want to give any spoilers for the documentary. I
No,
want you guys to
it's
all go and
amazing.
see it.
I can't wait to see it. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to
no,
seeing it.
it's yeah,
Um,
me too. And it's just
my next question for you as we're winding down here, let's tell everyone here today where we can find Sage Mo, the professional wrestler, your social media outlets.
So I wrestle for Monster Pro Wrestling here in Edmonton, Alberta. You can always find me on our YouTube channel and Monster Pro Wrestling, or on our Facebook, Monster Pro Wrestling. Personally, you can find me on Instagram at Deadliest Diva, or as the Matriarch on Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you. Now, my last thing I'm going to do with you, Sage, today, before we sign off, I'm just going to give you the open floor. I like to do this because I usually get the best responses from my professional wrestlers. It's all up to you. What would you like to close us off with here today?
I just want to thank you for having me here. I want to thank everybody that's been a part. Like 2023 was such an incredible year for me. I got to really get my toes wet and fall in love with the wild, wacky world of professional wrestling. And it's just I'm really grateful for everybody who's been a part of this journey and who's, you know, walked with me on this road up until this point. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to 2024 and all of the exciting things, Wrestling Academy and the documentary and everything that 2024 has in store for me. I'm just really excited and looking forward to that. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, Chief Migwich. I'm really excited to see the progress that you can make in 2024 and beyond, Sage. Thank you so much for being on here today. My name is Ken, and I'm from Ken's Corner, and I've been honored to have on my Indigenous sister, I guess, Sage Mo. She's a professional wrestler, and Jacques Rougeau. She is a gem. You have to put this lady on 2024 Loot Academy. Thank you so much and have a great day. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.